Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to solve a question which is based on Dijkstra algorithm. So let's read the question at first. So this question is a medium level question number 1091 of lead code. So the question is shortest path in a binary matrix. The question says that we have been given an n cross n binary matrix. Okay, we have to return the length of the shortest clear path in the matrix. And if there is no clear path, we have to simply return -1. Now, what is a clear path exactly? So, a clear path in a binary matrix is a path from the top left cell, I mean this one, top left cell that is 0, comma 0 index to the bottom right cell that is n minus 1, n minus 1. Okay, because it's a n cross n grid. Now we can visit the entire matrix in such a way that all the visited cells of the path are 0. It means if let's say the value in the box is 1, then we can't visit that particular cell. So the cell must be having value 0 to travel through that. Now all the visited cells of the path are 0. And the second thing is that all the adjacent cell of the path are 8 directionally connected. That is, they are different and they share an edge or a corner. It means that, for an example, it's a 2 cross 2. Let me take this one. So, for a cell to be adjacent of a particular cell, it has to be 8 directionally. For example, let's say if I'm on this cell, like this one, you can see my arrow. Then for this one, the adjacent cells are obviously the top one, bottom one, right and left, but also the 8 directionally means this one also, like the diagonally left, right, and then bottom left and bottom right. So basically it should be 8 directional. So we have to return the shortest path. And how I come to know that we are going to apply Dijkstra in this, because it is clearly written, like we have been given source. Okay, this one top left, we have been given the destination, this is the bottom right cell, and then we have been asked to where it was written, to return the shortest path. Yeah, here we have to return the shortest clear path. So when these three things are here, that is, the source is given, the destination is given, and the third thing is to return the shortest path. It clearly signifies to use Dijkstra algorithm. So let us start writing its code. So very first of all, we have to traverse to the 8 directions. So to traverse through those 8 directions, we need to create a vector also, which will keep track of it, right? So I'm going to create first of all a vector. That is going to be a 2D vector, obviously, because all those 8 directions are going to contain the coordinates. Have I started the recording? Let me check it. Okay. Hmm. So now in the directions, I'm going to store all the coordinates. So what are the possible coordinates if I talk about the 8 directions? So very first of all, we can go to up, then down, then left, and then right. So it can be like this, and then diagonally right. So 1 comma 1, and then I'm gonna put here comma. Let me count whether it is 8 or not. Okay. So this entire vector will help us to traverse through the 8 directions from a single cell. Now, since we are going to store the pair, why we are going to store the pair? Because one is going to be for the node, for the cell where you are, and another one is going to store the distance. अभी तक हमने कितना कितना distance travel किया उसके लिए. So यहीं पर I'm going to store, or wait here, let me just define it. Type def pair, comma, okay. So basically यहाँ पर मैंने एक pair के लिए I've just created this shorthand over here, or I can just move this also. Okay. Now from here I'm going to start my main code. That very first of all, let us just declare the rows and columns. Grid dot size, then n is equal to grid 0 dot size. Now very first of all, we are going to handle some edge cases. Now let's say we have to reach till here. I'm going to take the first example right now. Let's say from this 0 comma 0 I have to reach till m minus 1, sorry, I have to reach till n minus 1, because obviously its size is n cross n. So let's say if the situation is like, okay, no, wait, is it given n cross n? Okay, so I can just take this itself. Okay, yeah. So let's say if the condition is ki Rn is 0, it means the size of the grid is 0, or you can say the end point where we have to reach finally. If that is only the initial point, okay. So there is no, it is not making sense to return any shortest path and all those things. And if let's say the starting point is not 0, then that also does not make any sense that you can start from there, because if the starting point is 1, then how can you stand even there, right? So I'm going to return minus 1 in that case if Rn is 0, if n is 0, or let's say our grid of initial point, basically a grid of 0 0 is not equal to 0, or you can write is not is equal to 1. I'm writing is not equal to 0, then I can simply return minus 1. This is going to handle my edge cases. Okay, now I'm also going to create a function that is going to check that whether the cell I'm standing at, is it my safe node, or is it my safe place to be there. So what are the conditions to be in a safe node? Like first of all, let's say you are at x, you have to check that whether you are in the boundary or not. I mean, are you not crossing, you must make sure that you're not crossing the boundary of x and y. So I'm going to write here a function of auto, by using auto. Auto is safe. I'll be using two parameters, int x, comma y, and then I'll be just checking this thing, because if it is safe, then it must be lying in this particular boundary. X should be greater than equal to 0, as well as it should be less than n, and y should be greater than equal to 0, and y must also be less than n. Okay, so it must be satisfying this condition to be in a safe side, to be inside the boundary. And after put your semicolon, after doing all these things, I'm going to create a vector where I'm going to store the result. Now अगर आप लोगों ने Dijkstra algorithm पढ़ा होगा, then आप लोगों ने एक चीज notice की होगी कि like we create a result vector and initially we enter int max, or whatever you want to put inside it, like 1e9 int max, any values which can like signify infinite or maximum value. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to create a vector, 2D vector, named as a result, and I'm going to make it n cross n. and I'm going to initialize it with int max. Okay. Now, since it's a Dijkstra algorithm, so we have to make sure that, because obviously we have to work with the shortest path. We need to have the shortest path, right? So I also need to have a min heap over here, because min heap is always going to give me the shortest path at its top. एंड अगर वैसे यहाँ पर हम लोग क्यू यूज कर सकते हैं, नॉर्मल क्यू हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग प्रायोरिटी क्यू, बट इन द केस ऑफ क्यू हमें मल्टीपल टाइम्स वी हैव टू ओवरराइड द वैल्यूज अगेन एंड अगेन. लाइक इफ यू आर गोइंग टू डू इट्स ट्राई रन, you'll find this out ki priority queue is however better in this case instead of normal queue. So I'm using here priority queue, and then I'm going to use this thing over here now, priority queue p. Like min heap के लिए हम लोग क्या करते थे, we used to write it in this way: priority queue int comma vector int then comma greater int. But here we don't want a normal integer, we want here it in the form of pair. Okay, so we are going to use this p, then vector p comma greater p, and then you can keep it any name. I'm just keeping it normal pq. Okay, now after declaring a priority queue, we want to enter our very first node and very first value inside it, right? So how we are going to enter the value? Now, what basically we want from the priority queue? We want that it should keep our values in such a way that we are getting the distance in a sorted order, right? We want distance to be in a sorted order, right? So I'm going to enter the values inside it in such a way that the element which we want to be in sorted order should be coming first, and the rest thing should be coming later on. So I'm going to push it, pq dot push 0. Why 0? Because initially the distance is 0. Initially, if you are at this point, look over here at the example. Initially, if you are at this point, so what is happening here? हमारा जो distance है वो यहाँ पर तो 0 रहेगा ना. You have not traveled here from anywhere else. You're here initially. So our distance is 0. And then obviously we are going to also enter the x and y coordinate, which was 0, 0 in the first case. Okay. Now, since we're also maintaining a result vector which I have declared over here, अब इसमें भी हम लोग fill करते चलेंगे साथ ही साथ. So result of 0 0 0 क्या हो जाएगा हमारा? 0 होगा, क्योंकि वहां पर तो shortest distance कुछ था ही नहीं, वो पहले से ही वहां पे था. Okay. Now after processing this first iteration, the very first thing, now we are going to now we are going to enter inside our priority queue. Okay, we are going to access the element inside the priority queue, and then we'll perform certain operations to that, right? So while not pq dot empty, जब तक हमारा pq जो है वो खाली नहीं हो जाता, हम क्या करेंगे? सबसे पहले we are going to extract the information whatever we want to extract, right? So what we want to extract right now, we want to extract the distance. So let's do it first. Int d or distance, whatever you want to call it, pq dot top. तो सबसे ऊपर जो हमारे टॉप पे जो एलिमेंट है, राइट, सबसे टॉप पे जो एलिमेंट है जो कि शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस है ऑब्वियसली, सो हमारा pq डॉट टॉप डॉट फर्स्ट जो है वो हमें उसको दे देगा, राइट. अब हमें क्या चाहिए? वी ऑल्सो वांट टू एक्सट्रैक्ट द नोड इटसेल्फ. सो वी आर गोइंग टू डू, अब देखो नोड हमारे किस तरीके से उसमें एंटर किया है, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पेयर इटसेल्फ. ओके, क्योंकि नोड हमारा खुद एक कोऑर्डिनेट के फॉर्म में, तो यहाँ पर मैं यहाँ पर मैं एक और बेसिकली पेयर बनाऊंगी, that is going to be like pair int comma int node is equal to pq dot top dot second. ठीक है, so this is going to be our entire node, because ये जो x comma y है which is there in the form of coordinate, but basically हमारा ये पूरा का पूरा node है. Okay, so we have extracted the distance, we have extracted the node. Now what we are going to do, now we are going to extract the coordinates. अब हमारा कोऑर्डिनेट क्या होगा? हमने नोड में तो इसको स्टोर करा लिया, तो नोड का फर्स्ट, दैट इज नोड डॉट फर्स्ट. What is our y coordinate? Y coordinate is going to be node dot second. Okay, so till here we have extracted all the values which we needed. अब इसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे? We took the help from a priority queue of all these values, so we are going to pop it out from it. Okay, because of next element को भी तो chances मिलने चाहिए ना. So I'm going to do here pq dot pop. Now अब उसके बाद हमें क्या करना है? हमें ये नोड तो मिल गया, राइट? हमें x मिल गया, हमें y मिल गया. अब जो है हमारा इसका काम आएगा. हाउ आई एम टेलिंग यू. ओके, सो क्योंकि हमें हमारा नोड मिल गया, अब हमारा मेन काम है कि हम उसके 8 डायरेक्शंस में चेक करेंगे कि क्या ज़ीरो है. अगर ज़ीरो है देन वील ट्राई टू ट्रेवल अक्रॉस इट, एंड इफ नॉट देन वील सी द अदर वे. ओके, तो हमने इसको पॉप कर दिया. नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू रन वन मोर फॉर लूप फॉर ऑटो. लेट मी जस्ट कीप इट्स नेम एज dir, जो कि हमारे इस डायरेक्शन वेक्टर को ट्रेवर्स करेगा. व्हाट वाज द नेम? डायरेक्शंस. ओके. अब हमारा जो न्यू एक्स होगा, लेट मी कीप इट एज एक्स अंडरस्कोर. हमारा न्यू एक्स क्या होगा? एक्स प्लस. अब क्योंकि हमें जो है इसको ट्रेवर्स करना है, राइट? तो इसको हम लोग किस तरीके से ट्रेवर्स करेंगे? डी आई आर इज बेसिकली ईच ऑफ दीज 1 2 3, ईच ऑफ दीज पेयर्स, राइट? सो अब इसका zeroth इंडेक्स, आई मीन टू से डी आई आर ऑफ 0, दिस इज गोइंग टू be adding on to our x coordinate. Then new y is going to be y plus dir y, dir 1. Okay, so now in this way we are going to traverse to all the 8 directions, and then हमारा जो distance है, क्योंकि ये unit distance है basically, यहाँ पर कोई भी h weights given नहीं है, so we are going to take our distance as 1, कि एक से दूसरे सेल में जाने का कुछ cost भी होगा, right? तो वो cost we are taking it as 1. Now we are going to check that if it is safe. So if is safe, जो यहाँ पर हमने ऊपर में फंक्शन लिखा था, ओके, यहाँ पे हम लोग चेक करेंगे कि ठीक है, वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड आवर न्यू नोड्स कि अब वो एक डायरेक्शन में ट्रेवल कर रहा है तो कहाँ कहाँ वो जा सकता है. वी आर गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट ऑल द पॉसिबिलिटीज. अब हम लोग चेक करेंगे कि क्या वो जो एक्स अंडरस्कोर वाई अंडरस्कोर है, इज इट सेफ टू बी traversing. So we are going to check it now, if is it safe. And one more thing we have to check here, कि ये जो हमारा जो ग्रिड में जो इसकी जो वैल्यू है, क्या वो 0 है? ओके, एंड अगर वो 0, लेट मी जस्ट राइट दिस फर्स्ट. grid of x underscore y underscore, if it is equal to 0, because it should be 0. Okay, if you want to traverse over there then its value should be 0. And one more thing we have to check that जो हमने जो इधर d जो निकाला था अपना, यहाँ पर ये वाला जो d था पहले से, d मीन्स जो पहले से जो हमारा जो डिस्टेंस है वो डिस्टेंस प्लस अभी जो डिस्टेंस ऐड ऑन हो रहा है वो, ओके, दैट इज d प्लस डिस्ट. क्या वो लेस है? मतलब हमारे रिजल्ट ऑफ x और x अंडरस्कोर y अंडरस्कोर में जो वैल्यू पहले से था, क्या वो उससे कम है? क्या वो उससे कम है? अगर वो कम होगा then that's really good, because that is something which we want to make it less and less. So I'll be updating its value, right? सबसे पहले इसको क्यू में, प्रायोरिटी क्यू में पुश करो. I mean, we are going to put the d plus distance and then as well as the coordinates whatever we are on. So x underscore comma y underscore. Okay, after this what I'm going to do, मैं इसमें इसको स्टोर कर दूंगी. Result of is equal to d plus dist. And after doing all these things, ये अब हमारा सारा का सारा काम कर लेगा due to the loop. Okay, after writing all these things we just have to check कि हमारा जो एंडिंग हमारा जो रिजल्ट वेक्टर जो फॉर्म हो रहा है आफ्टर डूइंग ऑल दीज स्टेप्स, अगर वो हमारा इंट मैक्स आता है, इट मीन्स कि हम लोग वहाँ रीच नहीं कर सकते, राइट? सो जस्ट चेक इट. इफ result of n minus 1 is equal to int max. If this is the case then I'm going to return -1. It means we can't reach over there. And if this is not the case, we'll return this. We could have simply used the ternary operator, but still it's okay. Okay, I knew it. Okay, a comma. It should be greater. Okay, so just let me debug it at once. ओके सो आई गॉट द मिस्टेक यहाँ पर मैंने रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट में कुछ गलती करी है लाइक अगर जब हम लोग लास्ट वाले नोड पर जा रहे हैं तो वी आर निग्लेक्टिंग द कॉस्ट ऑफ द लास्ट नोड ओवर हियर तो यहाँ पर हमें +1 करना होगा आई होप अब रन कर जाए ओके लेट मी सबमिट दिस कोड okay so I hope everyone got whatever I tried to explain so thanks for watching